I was drunk on a Monday night when I saw the link. A spam post on an internet forum I frequented, dedicated to those suffering from an addiction to plastic surgery. They'll perform any kind of surgery you want as long as you've got the cash. The post was just that simple sentence, followed by a URL that was just a long string of letters and numbers. How lazy, I thought. They didn't even bother to disguise the link. I shook my head and hit the power button on my laptop. Just before I closed it, I caught a glimpse of myself in the now darkened screen. I closed my eyes and sighed in disgust. The worst time to catch a glimpse of myself was when I wasn't expecting it. My nose was delicate, small, and obviously plastic, and my chin had been filed down to a needle-sharp point by too many surgeries. Most days, I could angle my face in the mirror just right and tell myself I was pretty, but the illusion was shattered whenever I'd accidentally catch a glimpse of myself in a reflective surface. What's worse is that I'd been refused an operation by every surgeon I'd consulted with in the last year on moral grounds. I tried not to frown as I thought about it. My face was already ugly enough, and I didn't need to add more frown lines to my laundry list of problems. I hesitated for a moment, then downed my drink before opening my laptop and turning it back on. I made sure to double-check that my antivirus was on and clicked the link. What loaded was a surprisingly professional-looking site filled with those before and after photos where models' eyes were blurred out. Some of the transformations were truly stunning. The surgeon's name was listed as Dr. Robert S. Ludlam. Googling him came up with nothing. But that wasn't totally out of the ordinary for a lesser-known plastic surgeon. I grabbed the vodka bottle and poured myself another glass without bothering to add in more orange juice. I was drunk enough that it didn't matter. I couldn't figure out what was up with the URL. Maybe it was just a referral link? I figured that the place looked on the up and up and gave the listed number a call. I expected an answering service as it was close to midnight, but instead, an enthusiastic male voice answered. "Hello," he said, sounding like what you'd imagine if a border collie suddenly became human. "This is Dr. Ludlam. Do you need any surgery done?" Something about his tone put me off, and I found myself regretting making the call at all. No, wrong number," I slurred out, clicking the hang-up button. But just then, the green light above my laptop's screen clicked on, and the webcam software's window popped up, giving me a much clearer look at myself than the blank screen of the laptop had. I quickly shut it off, wondering if I'd somehow gotten a virus from this sketchy website. And yet, having seen my face in the camera like that pushed me over the edge. I called the number again. "Dr. Ludlam here," the chipper voice answered. "Did you change your mind?" Yeah, I'd like to make an appointment." I don't really know what it was that made me have such poor judgment. Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe it was just that I wanted this place to be legitimate so badly that I ignored the misgivings in my gut. I showed up the next morning at 11 o'clock. I was concerned Dr. Ludlam would be working through his lunch, but he just laughed it off with a, "Who needs to eat? Ha ha ha." The office was in one of those nondescript buildings that people rent out for small businesses. I felt a bit better about the whole weird situation once I saw the other offices full of unrelated companies. I found door 202A at the end of a long, desolate hallway on the second floor. I gave it a knock, and almost immediately, a thin, wiry man in a lab coat answered. "Miss Stevenson," he said excitedly, his border colliness even more apparent in person. "Dr. Ludlam?" I hazarded. "Right you are," He clapped me on the shoulder as if I'd just won $1 million prize on a trivia game show. "So, Miss Stevenson, we operate a little differently here," he said. He stopped, stared at me for a moment in total silence, and stroked his chin. "Yes," he went on as if there had been no interruption. "Have you ever gotten a haircut?" he asked, thrusting a white binder into my hands. Yes," I replied hesitantly. "Of course you have," he almost yelled. "It's the same process. You can take a look at these various faces and decide which one you think is most beautiful, and then I will craft your new face accordingly." I got another twinge in my gut telling me to leave, but I made the mistake of flipping the book cover open. The girls in this book were what I had always wanted to be. They were flawless, alluring, and most of all, completely natural looking. Not plastic. And try as I might, I couldn't ignore that little voice in my head, that little voice that had driven me to make poor decisions my entire life. This is your chance to be beautiful. Before I knew it, my finger was on a picture, and I was being ushered into the operating room for surgery. The last thing I saw before I went under was Dr. Ludlam's too-thin face grinning down on me. When I woke up, I could definitely feel the difference in my face. I thought Dr. Ludlam must not have given me enough anesthesia because it hurt with every tiny movement. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw another bed in the operating room. I could hear Dr. Ludlam's excited babbling behind me, but under the influence of the anesthesia, I couldn't make out a word of it. For some reason, I just kept staring at that bed in the corner of the room. Something seemed off about the person lying on it. As my vision became clearer and clearer, I realized that her chest was no longer rising and falling. As it became even more clear, I realized that her face didn't match her skin tone. And finally, as the anesthesia wore off, I realized that her face was gone, and she was wearing mine. "So beautiful, aren't you?" Dr. Ludlam grinned down at me, shoving a mirror in front of me. My heart stopped as I saw the woman whose face I'd chosen from the book sewn on to where mine had used to be. "Sadly," he went on, seemingly oblivious to my distress, "your friend wasn't so happy with her transformation, and we had to increase her anesthesia to, calm her down. You're happy though, right?" It was then that I caught a glimpse of Dr. Ludlam's white-knuckled hand clasped around a needle with his thumb on the plunger. I winced with pain as I forced a smile. "Yes," I said, "I'm happy. Yes, and beautiful, right?" The tears ran like little rivulets of fire down my cheek. "Yes," I sobbed. "I'm beautiful."